Charlotte Mason had a paradigm of education like none I've ever seen before. She didn't look to the ancient Greeks or Romans. She looked to Scripture. Fancy that. The purity of her desire to create an educational paradigm based on the personhood of children takes you in a completely different direction than if you're seeking a paradigm of education based on great books. She didn't just begin with, what should every kid know? She began with, how do we relate to this child who is a person created in the image of God? In other words, she looked to the triune God for answers about education. She didn't look elsewhere. There you will find that education is primarily about relationship and not power. What was her secret? She didn't have the science we have today, the research she didn't have like we have today. What was her secret? Mason communed with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She makes no bones about it. That communion enabled her to see much that many of us cannot see. Oh yes, she was a very bright person. She was probably a genius in her abilities. But that will only get you so far. She communed with the God of Scripture, and he taught her many things. Mason was a brilliant educator, much ignored by the professionals in the world of education. Now, most of you, except for maybe Jack Beckman, and I think he is too, are all younger than I am. So I think when I say I am challenging the younger generation, it includes everybody, including Jack Beckman. So I am challenging you as the younger generation of Mason educators to take the time to dig deep and to understand Mason's educational ideas. Dig into her context. Dig into her ideas. Go beyond just the 6 volumes. You know, in her letters, you find out little bits here and there where her thoughts were changing about her own ideas about education. And you have to take the time to dig into those documents in order to be able to track with what she was thinking right on up until the time of her death. I think it is very important for you as a younger generation to bring Mason robustly into the 21st century. And to bring her into the 21st century with the force that she deserves really requires some hard work and some hard labor of our minds. She was light years ahead of the people and of her time. And when you look at many paradigms of education today, she's still light years ahead. I believe that many of her ideas are alive, fresh, sweet-smelling, and delicious for us today, as they were in her time. But we cannot forget to do the labor of our own minds. We have learned many things since her day, and we must consider them, or we are not being a Mason educator. I say to all of you, since you're all younger than I am, you must pick up the mantle by studying not just Mason, but what does current science say to us? What does current research tell us? And we need to adjust our expectations and our beliefs about Mason's ideas accordingly. We need to bring her robustly into the 21st century. Her ideas, I believe, are simply too important to let them die of inanition and of postmodern relativism. So we are passing it to you to carry it on for the next generation. Thank you.